So I would always say that I'm like from India, but I grew up in Indonesia because I feel like that's a very important clarification. Indonesians don't really think I'm Indonesian, and Indians don't really think I'm Indian.
Can you briefly introduce your background?
My name is Angel. I am from South India.
How long have you been living in India and Indonesia, respectively?
So I was born in India, so maybe only a couple months, but I go back every year. But Indonesia, I've lived there since high school, so 16 years old. I never studied in India. I was just there until I was a few months old.
Basically, your life is in Indonesia.
Yeah, pretty much. Batam specifically.
Do you know the reason why your family is now based in Indonesia?
I know that my parents used to work in India. Then they got a job in Batam through a family friend, and then they just like stayed there. Honestly, they kept thinking like they would go back to India, but they never did. So now we've just like settled there.
What is it like growing up in Indonesia as an Indian?
I think you definitely stick out a bit more, and also people do give you a bit more leniency even if you don't know the language. People are still very friendly, but I think it's just a bit more obvious that you're a foreigner.
Was there ever a part of yourself that you feel Indian because you've lived outside of India for most of your life, right?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a difficult part because going back home to India, I felt like I wasn't fluent in my own language. But then while I was in Indonesia, everyone always sees me as an Indian, especially, and my parents will always remind me that I'm Indian and like, oh, we have a certain culture, we have certain different values, and it's always like hard to balance both of them.
What language do you speak at home?
So my parents speak in Malayalam, which is my mother tongue, and I understand it, but I speak back to them in English.
How did you learn English?
I went to an international school. I mean, my parents do know a bit of English, right? But I went to an international school, so I definitely developed it there. And like English is actually my strongest language.
And since you've grown up in Indonesia, right, what was it like learning their language?
Luckily, it's a bit similar because it uses the same alphabet as English. So like that wasn't the hard part. I think it was just like remembering the vocabulary. Luckily, the grammar isn't so bad either. But I think it was just like when you're trying to learn Malayalam and English and Indonesian and maybe like whatever other language you're learning in school, like French or Mandarin, like juggling all of it at the same time is the hard part.
Could you speak a sentence in each of the languages that you speak?
Nama saya Angel. Saya berasal dari India Selatan. എൻ്റെ പേര് Angel ആണ്. ഞാൻ ഇന്ത്യ ആണ് ജനിച്ചത്. My name is Angel. I am from South India.
This year, Angel is graduating from one of Singapore's top universities. In a separate video, she shares what life as an international student in Singapore is really like and what she wishes she knew before moving there. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. I'll see you there. So you've studied in Indonesia until high school, and after that, why did you choose to study in Singapore?
So I think I knew that I wasn't going to keep studying in Indonesia because I mean they do have some English language universities. There was more limited options, and I also knew that it didn't make sense for me to go back to India because I've been living abroad my whole life. It would be hard to adjust. And also, honestly, like Singapore just had the best academic opportunities. Like it has some of the highest ranked universities in the world. It's close by to home because my parents are still in Indonesia. It's really safe. Everything just matched up. And like I've been to Singapore a couple of times and I loved it.